Alan Greenspan is weighing in on high-dollar pay packages for Wall Street executives. The former Fed chief talked yesterday with Bloomberg's Al Hunt in an exclusive interview.
Let me ask you about executive compensation. In the last year or so, we have seen CEOs of places like Bear Stearns, Lehman, and Merrill Lynch, all by any measurement, abysmal failures, walk away with hundreds of millions of dollars. Federal government came to the rescue of some of those firms, not Lehman. Haven't we created a risk-free system almost, where whether you do well or not, you walk away rich? And if that's the case, shouldn't there be some kind of limits imposed?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I have, in a book I wrote a couple of years ago, in fact, just before the crisis began, I discussed this issue at length because I used to serve on compensation committees. And I was very critical of the way those particular systems functioned. And I've been a major advocate, for example, of that stock options, for example, should not be should be tied to the relative performance of the company to its peers, and not find somebody who, for example, ruins a company, but the stock market generally is going up, and as you know, it pulls all stocks up.
Right.
So somebody who has gone through an awful period of management comes out with a large chunk of cash. There are lots of those types of things that have to be and should be and will be changed. The only concern I have is that you have to be careful here, because this should be a relationship between shareholders, directors, and executives, making mutually, presumably, purposeful agreements. So it's not as though we're using taxpayer funds or anything else like that. I'm a little.
So how about those firms where we are using taxpayer funds?
Where taxpayer funds are used, then I'd say whatever the government does, they have a right to do.
So that's the distinction. Government ought to be involved where they're using.
Look, there's no question. There's got to be a cost of accepting government funds. And if indeed you've done that, and especially when the government is a major shareholder and effectively can control the vote on the board, then they're in control.
Greenspan also told us he thinks the U.S. economy will pick up steam in the third and fourth quarters of this year before slowing again in 2010, so perhaps a W-shaped recovery. He also says he expects the surge in stocks, that is, to come to an end and the jobless rate to stay high in the 9 to 10% range, so the new normal.